For organizations that build and deploy applications on premises, there's a heavy emphasis on capital expenditure, or CapEx, to set up and maintain their IT infrastructure. For example, setting up a data center requires planning the necessary amount of physical space, servers, and other hardware, then purchasing it and hoping that it's just enough. It's a careful balancing act between underpurchasing and overpurchasing so that a business doesn't end up with unserved demand or wasted capacity. The operating expenditure would include, for example, the utility bill for keeping the space cool, and salaries for security personnel. In contrast, when an organization migrates or builds and deploys applications using cloud services, there's a greater emphasis on operational expenditures, or OpEx. They're paying for what they need when they need it. But what does this focus on operational expenditures actually mean in practice? Well, budgeting is no longer a one-time operational process completed annually. Also, because of the variable nature of cloud resources and their costs, spending must be monitored and controlled on an ongoing basis. Infrastructure procurement has radically changed too. Now, given the right permissions, almost any employee can spin up resources in seconds. Too often, though, the very accessibility that makes cloud services attractive leads to reduced control and significant overspending. Often, this is unintentional. An engineer spins up a virtual machine and then forgets to shut it down, or makes a seemingly minor change to an application that then leads to spiraling data storage costs due to a bug in their code. The ease of access to cloud resources brings with it the need for more precise, real-time control of what is being consumed. Having control can mean the difference between peace of mind and spiraling costs that lead to budget overruns. If this is something you're concerned about, you're not alone. We've learned that IT executives found that unpredictable costs and lack of visibility and transparency into the cloud usage are among the top pain points when managing cloud environments. Concern over lack of predictability was also a top pain point for IT and finance professionals in a recent Google study. And these concerns are valid. When cloud usage isn't effectively controlled, it can lead to inefficiencies. According to a RightScale study from Flexera, businesses surveyed estimated they were wasting 27% of their cloud spend. What Flexera found was that businesses were actually wasting 35% of their cloud spend, 8% over their estimates. This suggests that the methods cloud users apply for managing their cloud spend are ineffective. Moreover, they're underestimating their cloud financial waste. Keeping costs within budget and limiting surprises were among the most critical cost management tasks identified in Google's research. The people involved in the cost management process will be key to helping you and your organization keep costs under control. Now, if you're working in a small organization, there may be one person or team responsible for managing all aspects of the cloud infrastructure and associated finance, from budgeting to procurement, tracking optimization, and so on. If you're in a larger organization, there are probably more people involved across multiple functions, including finance, technology, and line of business roles. For these organizations, technology and line of business teams are often the ones using cloud resources, but they don't necessarily factor cost into their decision-making. And similarly, finance teams care about controlling cloud costs, but they may struggle to understand or keep up with cloud spend on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So how do you solve this problem? Let's look at the solution through three lenses: people, process, and technology. By people, I'm referring to the various roles involved in managing cloud costs. Again, if you're working in a small organization, one person may have multiple roles. For large organizations, though, the finance team needs to take on a financial planning and advisory role. They need to understand their organization's business priorities, then make data-driven decisions around cloud spending, working in close collaboration with technology and line of business teams. These teams can then advise on how cloud resources are currently being used to meet the organization's overall business strategy, and what additional resources might be needed throughout the upcoming year. To manage cloud costs effectively, a partnership across finance, technology, and business functions is required. This partnership may already exist, or it may take the form of a centralized hub, such as a Cloud Center of Excellence. This central team would consist of several experts who ensure that best practices are in place across the organization and there's visibility into the ongoing cloud spend. This centralized group would also be able to make real-time decisions and discuss trade-offs when spending is higher than planned. When it comes to cloud cost management, consider the following questions. What cloud resources are being used and by whom? What are the associated resource costs? How do these costs measure against the broader business strategy? With cloud, an organization can and should monitor and analyze its cloud usage and costs on a daily or weekly basis. This will often be done by someone on the technical team. Then on a weekly or monthly basis, the finance team can look at the results, charge back the costs to the appropriate teams, and determine whether any changes are needed to ensure that the organization's cloud spend is optimized. Having a culture of accountability in place across teams helps organizations spot waste, quickly take action to eliminate it, and ensure they're maximizing their cloud investment. It will also help drive cross-group collaboration across technology, finance, and business teams to make sure their cloud spend aligns with broader business objectives. Finally, Google Cloud brings its own native tools that help organizations monitor and manage their costs. In fact, these tools can enable organizations to gain greater visibility, drive a culture of accountability for cloud spending across the organization, control costs to reduce the risk of overspending, and provide intelligent recommendations to optimize costs and usage. We'll talk more about some of these benefits in a later video. For now, just remember, the variable nature of cloud costs impacts people, processes, and technology. As an organization adapts, it'll need a core team across technology, finance, and business functions to work together to make decisions in real time. Through this close collaboration, they'll be able to control and optimize cloud costs on an ongoing basis. Up next, we'll discuss the factors that make up the total cost of ownership when using cloud services.